You are 38 weeks pregnant. The nursery does not look like a magazine cover, and it certainly does not look like the pristine, color-coordinated sanctuaries you have been scrolling past on social media during your sleepless nights. Instead, it looks like a bomb went off inside a laundry basket. You are staring at a mountain of unwashed onesies, surrounded by the beautiful, overwhelming chaos of impending motherhood, wondering how you are supposed to be ready for absolutely everything when you can barely manage to put on your own shoes. Take a deep, intentional breath with me right now. Let your shoulders drop. Your baby does not need a perfectly curated room. They just need you. And you, sitting right there in the middle of that beautiful mess, are already exactly enough. Right now, you are standing on the very edge of one of the most profound transitions a human being can experience. The nesting instinct at this late stage of the third trimester is not just a quirky behavioral urge. It is a primal, biological imperative. It is your brain and body shifting into an intense gear of preparation, flooding your system with adrenaline and a fierce, ancient need to secure the physical environment before the vulnerability of labor begins. But what happens when that biological urge collides with the exhaustion of carrying a full-term baby? It creates a perfect storm of panic, guilt, and sheer physical depletion. You look around the room at the scattered piles of soft peach cotton, the half-empty boxes of wipes, the tiny, mismatched socks, and the open, half-packed hospital bag sitting mockingly on your unmade bed. The sheer volume of things this tiny human requires feels entirely unmanageable. You hear the rhythmic, distant hum of the washing machine running its third cycle of the day, a mechanical echo of the endless loop of preparation playing in your tired mind. You feel the physical weight of your body, the aching in your lower back, the swollen heaviness in your ankles, and the subtle, constant shifting you have to do just to find a sliver of comfort sitting on the edge of the mattress.
It's gone.
Every movement requires calculation and effort. The urge to sort, to fold, to organize is so incredibly strong, yet your energy reserves are entirely depleted. You pick up a handful of impossibly small garments, the soft, muted terracotta fabrics rustling between your slightly swollen fingers, and you feel the hot sting of tears behind your eyes. It is the living blur of the final countdown, where time feels both agonizingly slow and terrifyingly fast. Let us talk about the crushing weight of that open hospital bag. It sits there like an exam you feel you are failing. You have packed, unpacked, and repacked it. You are terrified of missing something crucial, of being caught unprepared in the exact moment when you need to be the most resilient. This anxiety is not a reflection of your capability as a mother. It is a reflection of how deeply you already care. But this anxiety is compounded by an entirely modern pressure. In our current culture of hyper-curated motherhood, we are subtly taught that our readiness for birth is measured by the aesthetic perfection of our physical space. We measure our worth against perfectly styled bassinets and meticulously organized diaper carts that look like they belong in a boutique rather than a real home where a real family is about to undergo a massive, messy, beautiful transformation. The guilt of falling short of that unrealistic standard can be suffocating. You sit there, looking at a beautifully chaotic bedroom floor covered in tiny, unwashed onesies, and the disparity between the expectation and your reality feels like a physical weight pressing down on your chest. You watch the golden hour light begin to filter through the partially drawn blinds, casting long shadows across the room, and the dimming daylight becomes a stark reminder of time slipping away. You feel as though you are running out of hours to achieve this impossible perfection. The exhaustion is not just physical, it is a profound psychological fatigue. The mental load of tracking inventory, anticipating needs, and managing the relentless nesting urge is draining your already limited battery. You might find yourself staring at a pile of perfectly soft, warm beige sleep suits, unable to muster the cognitive energy to figure out which drawer they belong in. And in that moment of hesitation, the sheer exhaustion bubbles up, culminating in a heavy, trembling exhale. It is so easy to interpret this physical and emotional wall as a sign of failure. You might think, if I cannot even organize a drawer of socks, how am I going to manage a newborn?
I have to keep you safe.
But I need you to hear this truth loud and clear. Your current inability to fold laundry perfectly has absolutely no bearing on your capacity to love, nurture, and protect your baby. The struggle you are feeling right now is the climax of an impossible expectation, meeting the reality of a human body doing the most monumental work imaginable. You are literally growing a human being, drawing from your own life force to build another life, and yet you are judging yourself for not having the energy of a professional organizer. It is time to gently, but firmly, release that standard. The physical nesting is spiraling out of control because it can never be truly perfected. Life with a newborn is inherently unpredictable, fluid, and brilliantly messy. You cannot organize away the unpredictability of birth, or the raw, unfiltered reality of the postpartum period. Let us delve deeper into what is actually happening in your nervous system right now. When you stare at that overflowing laundry basket and feel the cortisol rising in your bloodstream, your body is entering a state of hyper-arousal. This nesting panic is a stress response disguised as productivity. Your brain is scanning the environment for threats, and in this case, the perceived threat is the state of being unprepared. It is screaming at you to fix it, to sort it, to control it. But when you are 38 weeks pregnant, pushing yourself into a state of frantic activity is entirely counterproductive to what your body actually needs to do.
I need help.
Birth requires deep, profound surrender. It requires oxytocin, the beautiful hormone of love, connection, and safety. Cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones currently fueling your nesting panic, are the absolute enemies of oxytocin. By obsessing over the physical environment, by forcing yourself to push through the exhaustion to achieve a curated standard of readiness, you are inadvertently keeping your body in a state of stress, which can actually inhibit the natural, physiological progression toward labor and healing. We need to actively pivot away from this frantic, exhausted energy. We need to shift the focus from the external chaos of the messy bedroom to the internal sanctuary of your body and your powerful connection with your baby. This requires a deliberate, mindful intervention on your part. It requires recognizing the rising panic, acknowledging its root in your deep love and protectiveness, and then gently choosing a different path entirely. It is about understanding that true readiness is not found in a completely packed hospital bag or a spotless changing station. True readiness is an emotional and spiritual state of openness. It is the quiet, brave acceptance that you cannot control everything, and that is perfectly okay. When you look at the beautifully chaotic piles of muted terracotta and soft peach textiles scattered across your floor, try to reframe exactly what you are seeing. You are not looking at a disastrous mess. You are looking at beautiful, tangible evidence of a life expanding. You are looking at the proof of your immense love, materialized in tiny cotton garments and practical baby supplies. The chaos is a symptom of abundance. By shifting your perspective in this way, you begin to soften the harsh judgment you are directing at yourself. You begin to create a vital space for grace. Grace for your tired, heavy body, grace for your overwhelmed, anxious mind, and grace for the beautifully imperfect reality of this exact moment in time. The transition into motherhood is not a practical exam you pass by having the right supplies arranged in the correct order. It is a profound, messy surrender to the unknown, a willingness to be broken open and remade anew. You absolutely do not need to be physically organized to be entirely emotionally prepared for that magnificent transformation. So, how do we finally find our quiet rhythm in the midst of this exhausting, living blur? It begins with a deliberate, radical pause. Right now, sitting on the edge of the unmade bed, I want you to simply stop sorting. Stop planning. Close your eyes for just one moment. Take a deep, intentional breath that travels all the way down to the bottom of your heavy belly. And as you exhale, let go of the desperate need to control the environment. Shift your nervous system out of that frantic panic mode and into a safe space of quiet observation. Open your eyes and pick up one single item from the floor. Perhaps it is a ridiculously tiny, warm beige newborn sock. Hold it in the palm of your hand. Look at how impossibly small it is. Let a quiet, loving chuckle escape your lips as you acknowledge the beautiful, overwhelming absurdity of this entire process. You are about to meet a person who can wear something this incredibly small. Instead of rushing to fold the entire mountain of laundry, just fold one piece. Take a lavender blanket and fold it slowly, mindfully, paying close attention to the softness of the fabric under your tired fingers. Shift your action from frantic rushing to slow, purposeful connection. As you sit there, let your hand come to rest naturally on your pregnant belly. Wait for a moment, breathing softly, until you feel that familiar, reassuring kick from within. That is your true anchor. Reconnect with the baby rather than the messy room. The physical mess around you begins to fade into a soft blur, and the profound internal pivot finally happens. You accept that the mess is not a reflection of your failure, but a powerful testament to a massive, impending shift in your universe. The physical nesting may be totally imperfect, but your emotional sanctuary is strong and secure. You reach over to the hospital bag, zip it up with a satisfying, metallic clink, and accept that it is imperfectly packed, but it is undoubtedly ready enough. Whatever you have forgotten, you will manage to survive without. You sink back into the soft pillows of your bed, resting your aching back as the soft, fading golden hour light gently washes over the beautifully chaotic room. A profound sense of relief washes through you, completely replacing the panic with a quiet, patient surrender. The lasting legacy of this moment is not the cleanliness of the room, but the gentle grace you finally allowed yourself to feel. As you rest, remember this one core truth. Babies do not care about color-coordinated rooms, aesthetic storage bins, or perfectly organized closets. They do not know if their tiny onesies match their swaddles. When your baby finally arrives, their entire world will be defined by your familiar scent, the soothing cadence of your voice, the gentle sway of your arms, and the steady, comforting rhythm of your heartbeat. That is the only true sanctuary they will ever require. The beautiful chaos of your home is simply the background to the magnificent, messy reality of loving them. You have already prepared the most important space of all. You are so incredibly ready.